All right, Shalom Yasharallah, it's Great Millstone, New Orleans, coming back at you with another lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakahakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
So in this lesson, we're just going to go into dominion. All right, what does it mean? What does it entail? And basically, what's coming to the sons of Yasharallah? Because there's a huge misconception that the Bible has to do with Christianity, which that religion does nothing but make you think about everything other than dominion. It makes you docile, it makes you soft, makes you forgiving of your enemies, the other heathen nations. But dominion, and according to the scriptures, is what's promised to the nation of Israel. And I'm going to start with this word real quick, dominion.
You mind if I make a point?
Yeah, you got it.
Just to back up what the brother was saying, Christianity makes you think about anything else but dominion. You had Napoleon Bonaparte say that religion is a good thing because it keeps the poor people docile from revolting against the elites. And what religion would he have been talking about? Christianity. Because that's been the main tool that the powers that be have used to keep these people subjugated and in that forgive thy neighbor spirit, which you Jakes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have taken hook, line, and sinker, while these Edomites, who say they're Christians, are constantly sticking their foot up your ass, enjoying their dominion and their rulership right now.
That's the main, just the tool of the devil, was spreading Caesarea Borgia and Christianity. All right, you walking around with a sword, chopping off Gad, chopping off Judah. All right, worship, bow down to this image, because he had dominion. All right, but this is the word dominion. As a mid-15th century, it says lordship, sovereign or supreme authority, and sovereign goes into oneness. To be the one on top. All right, you had that Jet Li movie, The One. He's like, I'm the one. The movie ends with him at standing on top of a pile of people. That's sovereignty, man. You're just at the top and everyone else is beneath you. It says from Old French dominion, rule, power. Okay, directly from medieval Latin dominium, which is corresponding to property, ownership, lord, master. All right, so the 144,000 are going to be the lords of the new earth. And that's what's coming to us. That's what's promised to Yasharallah, because we're the sons of the Heavenly Father. And when you go into Genesis, which the brother's about to get, we were actually set up to have dominion from the very beginning. You got it, huh?
This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And the word there is God, but speaking of the Elohim, the powers, and the sovereigns back then.
The sovereigns.
And the Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
It said, let us have what?
Dominion.
Dominion. And this also proves that the Heavenly Father didn't create the earth. It said, let us. All right, us is plural. Meaning what? This was Yahweh Shai and the angels. All right, the sons of the Heavenly Father. And that's who is going to have dominion in the kingdom of heaven. And when you go into Genesis, the first chapter, we actually started with dominion. The Lord said, look, matter of fact, keep reading, Baba Kushar.
Verse 27. So the Elohim, So the Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of the Elohim created he him, male and female created he them.
Right.
They them.
Yeah, we're made in the image of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that comes with dominion. Yahweh is the king over all creation. And he gave dominion over to his son. And it tells you in Romans 8 that we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. So if Yahweh Shai was given dominion, then what does that mean? That means we're going to have sovereignty. 144,000 men are going to have total sovereignty over our enemies and even over the rest of the nation of Israel. We're even going to have dominion over angels. Baba Kushar, if you can get 1 Corinthians 6. Yeah, this is one of those scriptures, like when I first came into truth, I was like, what does that mean? We're going to judge angels? Are the angels going to go off? No, angels don't go off. They obey.
This is 1 Corinthians 6, verse 3.
Sorry, 2, Baba Kushar.
1 Corinthians 6, verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Right, it says, do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? Do you not, first of all, do you not know who the saints are? Okay, Psalms 50 and 5, the saints are the Israelites, those that made a covenant with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're actually going to judge this world. We're going to inherit the earth. We're going to inherit the nations. We're going to have dominion. So what does that come with? That comes with judgment. And judgment over everything, as it's going to tell you.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Verse 3. Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
That's heavy. Know ye not that you shall judge angels? And like I said earlier, the angels aren't going to go off, but we are going to judge them. Meaning, what? Can you give me 1 Kings 22 and start at 19? When you go into the scriptures, the angels actually they have their own personality just like us, but they don't sin. They don't have flesh. So they're just imagine spirits ministering, which are flames of fire, but they have spirits. The Lord actually created the angels to have their own spirits. Right?
God. This is 1 Kings 22 and 19. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of Yahweh. I saw Yahweh sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left.
God, the right-handed angels and the left-handed angels. All right, there's so-called all the angels are right in the sense that they're in order, but you have wicked angels, which we call demons, and you have angels, which are on the right hand. Keep going.
Verse 20. And Yahweh said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner.
Right, so you have angels that are saying, look, I have this idea, I have that idea. The Lord actually put the spirit in the angels to have different ideas and different personalities, basically. So in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have actual angels that you're going to send on the heathen. All right, the scriptures tell you in Deuteronomy 30 and 7 that all of the curses that came on us are going to come on our enemies. So what does that mean? When these prognosticators and these soothsayers, all of these top Edomites, they actually have demons that they put on Jake. So we're going to have the same power in the kingdom. We're going to have actual wicked demons that we're going to be able to judge and say, okay, matter of fact, keep reading.
I got 142 to back you up.
Come.
Verse 21. And there came forth a spirit and stood before Yahweh and said, I will persuade him. And Yahweh said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so.
Right, so you can imagine the Heavenly Father sitting on the throne. He's a Jake, so he's not sitting normal. He might be leaned back, his crown tilted. He's just listening to the angels like, okay, that's how I did. Now he already knows in advance what he's going to do, but the actual kings don't physically get off the throne and do things themselves. They send orders, man. And we're going to have that same authority in the kingdom. That first 1,000 years, we're going to get a lot of our garments are going to get bloody, but eventually there's going to come a point where it's just like, okay, go do that. It's going to be in perfect order. You got it.
God, and just to back you up, hey, we're going to have angels, hey, on the right hand and on the left hand.
God.
It said, was in one of, I know it's one of your favorites too, that Zechariah, I believe, 7, it's either 7 or 12, where it says, and the house of David shall be as God. So we're going to have access to those abilities to, as the brother was going into, judge those angels and send out orders for them. And what does that come? When you're sending out orders, what does that mean? You're a king.
You're a king.
You have dominion.
You have authority.
You have authority to enact judgments.
Yeah, everything we don't have here. Like right now, we have the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, as it tells you in Corinthians. We have the mind of Yahweh Shai, but we don't have the authority to execute judgment. We see wrong judgment every day, and it's vexing. We see things that are out of order every day, and it's vexing. In the kingdom, if you see something out of order, it's going to be handled expediently. It's going to be like, oh, that doesn't belong there. Get rid of it. Oh, that person's going off. Judge them. Put them to death. We're going to be executing righteous judgment. Everything that we want in righteousness, we're going to have total power to execute it.
And look at the power that Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai gave these elites back in, the whole 2020 to 2021. They had the power to make the world literally stop in its tracks.
Yeah.
And that's power on the left-handed side on a low level given to the basest of men. A nation that the Most High created to hate.
Yes.
So how much more to his sons
that he loves?
The first spirits that were created after Yahweh Shai, that power. Let's get an example of it. This is Zechariah 14. I'm going to start at 16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And in order for them to be in that position to keep it, what are they under? Subjection. If you don't follow our laws, our high holy days, like on this side, what it's about to go into, punishments are coming. Verse 17, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth, speaking of these heathen nations, unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and that trickles down to what? Yahweh Shai, King David, who's a part of the 144,000, the head of the 12 because he's Peter in the reincarnation, and then to the rest of the 144,000 kings. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt shall not go up and come up, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
And that's dominion. All right, when you want something done and you tell your subjects to do it and they don't do it, there's consequences. That comes with authority. That comes with dominion. Right now, all Jake can do is complain. You got these red pill Jakes. They upload videos all day about the nigger woman. Look, the black woman did this, the black woman did that. You got these black power niggas. They're complaining about white supremacy. Oh, the white man did this. But in the kingdom, we're not going to complain, all right? Here in Babylon, the souls of the just complain continually. In the kingdom, when the souls of the just see something unrighteous, they're going to actually be able to force their will onto the people. I got a scripture to back up what the brother just read. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 12. It says, "For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted."
Point blank, period. You don't want to follow, the commandments of the kings. You don't want to bow down to the dominion and the sovereignty. Hey, you're going to be utterly punished. You're going to be destroyed. Exactly. Yeah. We're going to have the ability to judge angels and send them on you, or we're going to have spiritual powers too. So if we want to show up ourselves and personally handle business, we can do that as well.
Yeah, if you see an actual king, like an actual 144 pop up in your town, it's going to be straight judgment.
When the king has to show up to the battle, that you know what it's hitting for.
Yeah. There's no talking, no more diplomacy. It's just off with your head. And that goes back to the prophets. All right, when the prophets were on the scene, Jake was like, "Thou comest peacefully," because that's what it meant when a prophet was on the scene. He was there to pronounce judgment. And in the kingdom, man, the kings and priests are going to be the prophets. So that same fear is going to be. Matter of fact, Prophet Rashad, if you can go back to Genesis 1. Because dominion comes with fear. That's the bottom line. What makes people obey you is fear. It's not love, all right? That's part of it. But you have to have fear, all right? Wives are supposed to reverence their husbands. We're supposed to reverence Yahweh Shai. When you go into that word reverence, it means phobia in the Greek, which is fear. In order to have dominion, the people under you have to fear you. If your children don't fear you, they'll run amok, man. They might love you. They might like being around you. They might like the way you treat them, the things that you give them. But ultimately, fear is what leads to correction. But if you could read 28.
This is Genesis 1 and 28. And the Most High blessed them, and the Most High, Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it.
Subdue it.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Dominion over every living thing. Okay, now the angels live, the animals live, anything that has a spirit, we're going to have dominion over it. Let that sink in, Akim. Everything that's alive, the 144,000 are going to have dominion over it. And to prove that, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 1. It says, Yahweh created man of the earth and turned him into it again. Right? When we die, so-called die, our bodies go back into the earth because we're made of the earth, all right? Our bodies have the same potassium, calcium, all the minerals in the earth that make up our bodies and is in the earth. It says, he gave them few days and a short time and power also over the things therein. He endued them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image. Going back to Genesis 1 and 25, it says, and put the fear of man upon all flesh and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. So in our origin story, all right, the sons of the Heavenly Father, we had dominion over all flesh. We had the fear of all flesh on man. That's how Noah was able to build an ark and have the animals, because Jake would say, how did all the animals get along? How did Noah get all the animals on the ark? Because we had the fear of all flesh was on men. The sons of the Heavenly Father, which at that time were the sons of Adam, we actually had, when you walk into a room right now, if you were sitting at a restaurant and a lion walked into the room, everybody, no matter what else is going on, everything would stop. All right, there wouldn't be any arguments. There wouldn't be, the nigger woman on the phone cussing out her man. Everything would stop if a lion walks into the room. That's how it is for the sons of the Heavenly Father. whatever was going on in the animal kingdom. If you saw an Israelite, it's like, okay, even lions were stopping their track. All right, elephants. There was a fear of man on the beast, and that's what's going to come in the kingdom of heaven. All living spirits, all living creatures are going to fear the sons of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai.
I got one to back you up.
Go on.
This is Genesis 9. I'm going to start at 1.
Go on.
And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons. And we know what? Noah was directly of the line of Adam.
Go on.
Adam to Seth, all the way down to Noah. And then the chosen seed came through what? Seth. Then it went Shem. Yeah, Khan. Shem. Then it went down to Abram. It went down just to, for sake of time. It went to Abram, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, to the 12 sons, to the sons of God today. And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered.
That's beautiful. So you see, dominion goes hand in hand with fear. It's synonymous. You can't, if no one's afraid of you, you don't really have power over them. You might say, oh, like for example, when you have police, you give them a badge. If you don't fear the police, what power do they actually have? When you see a woman cop trying to arrest a Jake and he doesn't fear her, that the badge means nothing. Okay, the badge is a symbol, a signet of authority, but the actual authority itself is backed by fear. Somebody has to fear you in order for you to actually have dominion over them. So, as the brother just read, the fear of all flesh was placed on the sons of Yahweh. That's the way. That's the righteous order of the earth. And the reason that the earth is completely out of course right now is because the actual kings, the actual rulers, are walking as princes. We're walking as slaves, man, servants.
You made a beautiful point about that badge and that authority. That's a telltale sign that Esau's losing his power, because people aren't fearing him anymore. People, as you were giving an example, you got a lot of people. The cops still have the power to kill people, but you got more people bucking up, talking shit to the cops, and you got a lot of cops leaving the force and afraid because of that phone. That phone that they can put up there, and it's like, look, that police brutality. So they don't have that sovereign authority. They don't have that sole authority to just crack skulls anymore. And then these other nations are seeing that the West, Esau's main power structure, just completely degenerate. They got sodomites in office. Their military's got women in it. So what? They're talking about dropping the dollar and building up their military arsenal and making alliance with these Eastern countries to ultimately destroy this whore.
Those are all beautiful points, because those were all examples of Esau losing his dominion, losing his authority. Because there was a time, not too long ago, we're talking in our lifetime, there was a time when Esau would say something to the nations and they would just acquiesce immediately. But now it's like, when Esau tells the nations to do something, they're like, well, shut up, nigga. Like, look at you. Like, look how you're treating the so-called Negroes. You have no right to tell us what to do anything. And we're going to continue making nukes. We're going to continue doing backhand deals. It's at a point right now where the so-called diplomats, they'll go to a meeting, they'll agree to something, and then leave the meeting and do the exact opposite. It's like, what are you going to do? Why? Because Esau is still in power on paper, but in real life, the nations don't fear him anymore because they have their own nukes. They're being backed by Russia. They're being backed by China. So they feel like, well, look, I'll just tell Esau whatever he wants to hear to his face, but I can actually do what I want to better my people.
Hey, they're learning from the devil himself.
Yeah.
Say one thing in public and do something else behind the scenes.
Yeah, they learn from the best.
The worst.
Yeah, the worst. God, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be alive during the actual transfer of power that speaks of in Sirach 10, which we have to get that Bible shot, because we're actually the generation that gets to see Esau slipping out of power. We get to watch day by day as this man fumbled. Over the weekend there was that glorious, I guess you could call it a riot in Montgomery. There was a time in this country where a group of Edomites would just jump a Jake, kill him, and lynch him. But now you had a group of Edomites try to jump a Jake, and all hell broke loose. All kind of Jakes just popped up, jumping in the water,
swimming from a boat.
Jake swimming
to go beat up an Edomite.
Beat up an Edomite on camera, and the whole internet is like, "This is great. I needed to see this." They love it, man. They're not bemoaning like, "Oh man, how could they beat up those old Edomites?" Nah, man, they were with it, man. The world wants to see Esau fall.
And you know how I shall raise up the tabernacles of Judah first. Whenever Judah does something, the rest of the tribes follow, and then the heathens follow afterwards. Now that Judah's getting in that spirit of whipping the Edomites' ass, what do you think's going to happen? It's going to start trickling down to the other tribes. It's going to trickle down to these heathens, and it's going to culminate in these nukes hitting this horde.
Because he's losing his fear. No one's afraid of Esau anymore. He's not that. What do they call it? The
Billy Badass.
Yeah, the
anymore.
Billy Badass. The guy, bad to the bone with the fucking mullet. The 80s action movie, coked out, kicking ass.
These colors don't run, Spirit.
Yeah, that's the thing in the past, man. Nobody takes Esau seriously. Because why? He's losing his dominion, which means he's losing his fear. The people don't fear Esau, which means his authority is waning. You got it right.
This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right, riches got by deceit. And that's another thing. Another reason that we're going to have true dominion in the kingdom of heaven is because our kingdom is going to be ruled in truth. Okay, truth is the most powerful thing. When you go into Esdras, it talks about the power of women, the power of wine, but there's nothing more important than truth, because truth is actually what everything else stems from. All right, this is why you have the word math, which goes back to the Hebrew word amath. 2 + 2 is always going to equal 4 in any scenario, which makes it what? True. We're actually the sons of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're the true rulers of the earth, and we're going to rule in truth. We're going to have true judgment. We're not going to tell the heathen one thing and then behind closed doors, oh, there's a secret amendment, and then do the opposite. And so that's going to come with respect. The heathen are going to fear us, but over time, they're actually going to love and respect the nation of Israel, because we, as it tells you in Deuteronomy, the commandments are what? Our wisdom in the sight of the nations. So when the heathen are actually ruled over in truth and righteousness, they're not only going to respect us and fear us, they're actually going to love us. It tells you in Proverbs 29 that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. These people are going to love to be ruled over by righteous kings. They're going to love, if I go to work, I'm going to get paid in gold, and they're not going to steal the value of my money.
I'm going to get paid the day I work.
The day I work, I get paid that. They're not going to hold my money from me and then tax it, and then spend the taxes on God knows who knows what, and then give me a piece of my own money back, and then at the end of the year, give them a tax return, and they celebrate getting their own money. That's not going to exist in the kingdom. All right, if you go to work and your wife is at home, she's going to be at home cooking for you. You're not going to come home and find another man in your bed, and then if you do something, you're arrested for murder.
The whole village is going to put both the adulterers to death.
Yeah, there's going to be public executions on a regular basis, which in this world that's seen as savage, that's
barbaric.
Seen as barbaric, but it actually brings righteousness. It puts away evil from your community. When you're a young man or a young woman and you see somebody get burned alive, the first thought is, what the fuck did they do? I don't want to do that. That's fear, okay? The kingdom of heaven is going to be ruled in fear, man. There's going to be fear of Israelites. There's going to be fear of breaking the commandments. All right, there's going to be fear of blasphemy. All right, you're not going to have to explain to somebody that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. We're not going to debate about what is a woman. That's not going to exist in the kingdom, man, because people are going to naturally have a fear of saying something that's stupid. There's no fear in this land, man. You could just say whatever for clout. You could say whatever to go viral. There's no fear. There's no fear on the looks of these people. You see the pride. People just walking around like everything's all good, disrespecting the Heavenly Fathers at an all-time high. In the kingdom, it's going to be the exact opposite. People are going to be terrified to break the commandments. They're going to be terrified to disrespect Israel. And that's going to make the world a much better place.
If I could say,
yeah,
if we look at every issue that people are complaining about today, the red pill, or on the side with women complaining about all these issues, we can bring it back to somewhere it's breaking one of the laws, statutes, and commandments, which goes to show that this earth is at a course. So when the righteous are in authority, the people are going to rejoice, because all these ailments and issues are going to be a thing in the past, and it's going to be enforced. And what is truth? Truth is transparency, and the kingdom is going to be all about transparency. We won't have to hide anything, because we won't be doing anything wicked that in people's spirits they know is off.
Right.
We're going to be ruling in righteousness and out in the open and enforcing those laws. It's not like going to be on this side where when documents get released on Esau's wickedness, what do they say? Oh, there's a lack of transparency with the government. Yeah. Why do you need to hide if you put this image as democracy being the best thing, and the American way and Western values, when everything you do is got some hidden ulterior motive that you try to put this false image to justify yourselves with.
Yeah, you don't have to hide the truth. In the kingdom, you're going to know exactly who your rulers are. We're not going to hide it. We're not going to be like the Rothschilds. Now, you might not see us, but it's not because we're hiding from you. You might not see us because we'll be on another planet. All right, you're going to actually know who your rulers are, because everything that happens under a dominion is the responsibility of the king. And this society demonizes kings, it demonizes masculinity, it demonizes authority and order. So it promotes this idea of democracy, which is effeminate. Nobody's responsible for anything. You have all of these so-called rulers, but the president blames the Congress. Congress blames the Senate. The people blame the politicians, and the politicians blame the voters. Well, I couldn't do anything because y'all didn't vote for me in the midterm. Like, nobody's responsible for anything. So everything is just wicked. In the kingdom, listen, you're going to have one dominion. That's Ra'ayah's dominion. That's Amawad's dominion. That's this brother's dominion. And whatever happens there is going to fall on the shoulders of the ruler. So the ruler is going to have a vested interest in making sure everything runs smoothly. There's not going to just be, oh, we'll deal with it 4 years from now. 4 years from now? 4 years turns into 8 years. 8 years turns into 12.
50. It turns into 2023 with the economy on the verge of total meltdown.
Yeah. Everything that politicians were saying that they were going to fix back when I was coming up in the 90s, it's still going on today, and it's worse. You know, I've every single year that I've been alive, I heard presidents say, you know what, we need to end our dependency on foreign oil. Every year, nothing happens. Like, what? Oh yeah, we need to focus on education. Every year, nothing happens. That's not gonna happen in the kingdom. Something's wrong, it's gonna get solved immediately. But you had something?
Oh no.
Were you still holding Sirach 10?
Yeah,
I want to go to the top. Because this is how dominion actually works. As it says in Genesis, we were made in the image of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So our subjects are going to be made in our image. You got it?
This is back in Sirach chapter 10, verse 1. And they got, in my Bible, they got it in all caps.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
A wise, in all caps, judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
The government of a prudent man is well ordered. All right, going back to Isaiah 9 and 6, the government is going to be on the shoulders of Yahweh Shai. It's going to be well ordered. And when you have a well-ordered king, when you have a prudent king, this is what happens to the subject.
Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Dominion, okay? If the king is righteous, everyone under him has no choice but to be righteous. In this world, the king is wicked. So all of these people, they're wicked, all right? Esau wants to be the Most High. He wants to boast in himself. He wants to exalt himself above the Heavenly Father. So what do you see everyday peons doing? Worshiping themselves, selfie culture, TikTok culture. Why would a loser who has no accomplishments in life, working a minimum wage job, worship himself? Because he's following the same spirit of Esau. Now in the kingdom, we're all going to worship the Most High. We're all going to be righteous. So what are our subjects going to be? They're going to worship Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to the extent that they can, all right? And they're going to have to be righteous. They're going to have to keep the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Oh, I want to go fishing. I want to go take some shrimp out of the water. No, that's not. You're not allowed.
You want to take some shrimp out of the water? We'll take your soul out of your body.
Yeah, that's how that'll go.
And you see how hard it is to follow the commandments in this wicked kingdom. It's going to be easy for them to follow the commandments in the kingdom because the commandments are going to be pushed. That's going to be the only law that's going to be pushed. So it's not like you're going to be battling like, oh, I can't I can't do the Shabbat because I got to work. No. Yeah. Whenever the Shabbat is, you're not working.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. Brothers know I used to live in the so-called Middle East, and there was the city I was living in. It was impossible to find pork, so I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to read the label. You go to a restaurant, you order sausage, a breakfast sausage. It's automatically turkey sausage. You don't have to ask what's in the food. That's how the kingdom is going to be. You're not going to have to go in a grocery store and check the label and make sure it doesn't have yellow 5. Make sure it doesn't. That's not going to exist in the kingdom. We're bugged out here. You gotta read the ingredients of food, like, to make sure it's even like, bro. You're not going to have to worry what you're putting in your body in the kingdom. Everything that's edible is going to be lawful. There's not going to be a pork menu. There's not going to be a red lobster. All right, that's not going to exist. Why? Because there's going to be a fear. That fear to keep the commandments. Like, no one's going to open a restaurant and then try to sneak in some pork. That's not going to exist. You got it?
I just got one to back you up. The point you were making, since we got a wicked ruler in power, a selfish megalomaniac. What are the rest of these people? Selfish megalomaniacs. This is Psalms chapter 12, verse 8. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted.
The wicked, all right, and we know according to what Malachi 4, the wicked is you so-called white people, all right? You're the people that the Heavenly Father has an indignation with forever, and since you're walking on every side, vileness and lewdness is exalted, all right? People People worship whores. Whore worship is at an all-time high, man. Instagram, TikTok.
Sodomy is at an all-time high.
Sodomy at all-time high. People actually openly talking about harming children and performing sexual deviant acts. And Eve, again, completely out of her body. And these things all happen because the vilest men are in rulership, man. That's not the case. In the kingdom, nothing but righteousness is going to be exalted. No one's going to go famous for being an idiot, basically. You're not going to go viral by doing something stupid. Even in China right now, they have a TikTok that is purely based on education. You can't go viral in China by doing something stupid. They ban you. And then they do, who knows what else they'll do to you. But in China, TikTok is the exact opposite of what it is here. It's all about promoting education. It's very pro-China. All right, in the kingdom of heaven, there's not going to be anti-Israelite propaganda. There's not going to be a underground culture that's against the mainstream culture. No, the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be mainstream, underground, everything. Everybody's going to be righteous, or else. But,
and also, in China, they're cutting back the time children are allowed to be on the internet and use social media, which is a good thing, because look at what it has done to these dildo heads over here in America.
Yeah, there's certain hours in China where you're not allowed to play video games. You have to study. They want their population to have to be competitive in the world and to not be stupid, which is the exact opposite here. Children here are intentionally bred to be as dumb as possible. Another thing in China, they're actually banning effeminate men from television. You're not allowed to be a sissy. You're not allowed to be
K-pop shit.
Yeah, they're just banning it. Like if you're a man, you have to be manly. There's no choice. And you can bet that the kingdom is going to be the same way. You can't be a effeminate dude. Well, he's not technically gay. He's just soft. Nah, man.
A metro brew.
Yeah, a man's going to be a man. A woman's going to be a woman. Everyone's going to know the difference. There's not going to be a debate in the kingdom. All right, the debate is going to be the edge of a sword going up against your skin, and everyone's going to see it. Again, what is that? Ecclesiastes 8:11. Because sentence is not executed speedily. These people actually think that it's okay to do wickedness. The kingdom is going to be the exact opposite. Judgment is going to be executed like that. You go off, it's off with your head. And again, that brings what? Fear. Fear brings dominion. All of these things are synonyms. When you fully understand what power is, what authority is, it comes with fear. That's what dominion is. Being able to make someone afraid to disobey you.
I got that Ecclesiastes if you want.
No, you got it.
This is Ecclesiastes 8:11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
That's right. Now, if you live in a world where someone is put to death for committing adultery, the rate of adultery is going to plummet. All right, it's still going to happen because people are wicked. They're going to try to circumvent the authority, but they're going to be found out. They're going to be put to death. All right, when you live in a world where, like you said earlier, when everything's shut down on the Shabbat, you're not going to have to try to keep the Shabbat. It's just going to be the way it is. You know, these Middle Eastern countries, they have a giant like an alarm in the city when you're supposed to pray, and everybody stops what they're doing. They take out the Aladdin rug. They pray in the streets. That's, you know, which is bugged out. Obviously, you're not supposed to pray publicly 5 times a day. That's heathen customs. But the principle is the same. When the whole society is geared towards the religious custom, that's the culture. You don't have to practice your religion secretly. You don't have to try and force yourself to try to do right. It's just going to come naturally. Righteousness is going to be the natural way in the kingdom of heaven, because the righteous kings are going to have dominion. You can get Revelation 2:25. We got to go into my word, exousia. It's one of my favorite Greek words. I'm not a fan of the Greek language, but certain words, they hit the spot.
This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 25. And this is all in red letters, so it's Yahushai, the king speaking, the king's speech. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
Going back to Psalms 2 and 8. Brother Rashab, you can read verse 26 again.
Revelation 2 and 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Now this word power in the Greek is Strong's G 1849, which is exousia. Exousia means power of choice, liberty of doing as one pleases, okay, the ability or strength with which one is endued, which he either possesses or exercises, the power of authority and influence. Right now, Jake has the power of influence right now, man. Even in our lowest state, we still influence the heathen. So how much more when we actually have dominion and the will to force our way on the heathen? It says the power of rule or government, the power of him whose will and commands must be submitted to by others and obeyed. Let me read that again. The power of rule or government, the power of him whose will and commands must be submitted to by others and obeyed. That's plain, man. All right, jurisdiction. All right, you being able to say, okay, this do this right here, but stop right there. Being able to set statutes. All right, having the people to conform to your will. That's what we're going to have in the kingdom. And they're never going to teach you this in the church. Your grandmother's never going to teach you this. Your pastor's never going to teach. They don't want you to even think in your mind that you're supposed to have these things. They want you to stay, like we were saying earlier, in that docile state, that yes master state. You'd be a cuck. All right, yeah, I'm secure enough to let my woman do this and do that. Everybody can look at my woman's body. Yes, I'm secure as long as she comes home to meet that cuck spirit. All right, in the kingdom, you're going to have dominion over your wife. You tell her what to do, she does it, and she's going to love it. This society is like, they had a video a couple of weeks back. This bitch was getting married. She wouldn't even say her vows. She wouldn't even say, I'll honor and obey my husband, which none of these women do that, but they at least know that they're supposed to lie and act like it. It's to the point now, they're like, fuck it, I'm not even going to play this game with you anymore. No, I'm not going to obey you, nigga. You're still going to marry me anyway. Because Jake is desperate for box. Now, in the kingdom, you're just going to have countless wives, and they're all going to be subservient. It's going to be beautiful. There's not going to be a gender war. You're not going to argue with a woman. These red pill panels.
None of that's just going to exist.
None of that's going to exist. All right? Everything Jake's doing now, and even the heathen, everything the heathen are doing to complain, they're complaining about society being out of order. And you made a beautiful point earlier. You said everything that people are complaining about goes back to one of the commandments being broken. All right, people are complaining about the environment. Why? Because Esau isn't keeping the land Sabbath. All right, he's not letting the bottom feeders of the ocean do their job, which is clean the water. All right, you have people complaining about marriage, relationships. Why? Because the marriage laws of the Bible are being broken every day. Everything people are complaining about in this society, even the economy, they're not following the commandments of the Heavenly Father. All right, money is gold. All right, gold, silver, cattle, people. That's actual money. So when you deviate from that and create your own make-believe money, of course there's going to be economic problems. Of course there's going to be collapses. Those things are all planned by the wicked.
Yeah, I got something to back you up. This is Isaiah 24. I'm gonna start at verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The word languisheth and fadeth away. And when you go into that word languisheth in the Strong's, it means to grow weak, feeble. The world languisheth, grow weak, and feeble, and fadeth away. The haughty or the proud people of the earth do languish. Why? The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant.
That's plain. The scriptures clearly tell you why everything is out of order. Because the people in charge have they've transgressed the laws. They've broken the ordinances. These people are so low at this point, they don't even believe that there's ordinances. Oh, why would God write a book? Why would anyone write an instruction manual to something that needs to be run a specific way? So that you don't fuck it up, man.
Hey, we were talking about this the other day. It's like when you go to people, like when you go to a store or even work with people, everybody's just unprofessional now.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they following after Esau, who doesn't want to follow the orders and instructions. They want to do their thing. They want to come on the job and think they know every goddamn thing. So everybody's just a lazy asshole now, a lazy know-it-all that can't do their job right.
Exactly.
Everything's off time. Your order's messed up. Nothing gets done. It's just it's a microcosm of this macrocosm of this shit-stained Western civilization we live in under Esau.
Yeah, that's another beautiful point. When you look at something as simple as punctuality, manners, customer service, these things, they all really go back to royal behavior. All right, kings would speak a certain way, even before war. Somebody could kill your son in battle. You in the back of your mind, you're like, but you still, as a king, you still speak diplomatically. All right. Now, when you go into Eastern cultures, they still have that. People bow when they greet each other in certain countries. That comes with reverence, and that pushes a vibration of respect onto the people. So when you have this idea of atheism and there is no God, there's no such thing as a king, those are just evil dictators, it's all about democracy, that breeds this idea that I can do what I want. All right, this person isn't above me, we're all equal. So if no one's above me, why should I listen to you? Why? Fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want, say what I want, dress how I want, act how I want. That's the mentality that comes from abandoning the Heavenly Father and his hierarchy. There's kings and priests that are supposed to be reverenced. There's a society that's supposed to be run, like the scriptures say, by a prudent man, and it's supposed to be ordered aright. But this society teaches the exact opposite of that. Just do as thou wilt. Do what you want. Don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to this, but don't listen to the Bible. That's outdated. And what is the end result? A world that is completely defiled, messed up, full of degenerates and weirdos, man. That guy's not going to exist in the kingdom.
Of course not. I wish we could get him on. He looked like George Carlin's stunt double.
Yeah, he looked like George Carlin. That's another Jake. He was complaining continuously, but everything he was complaining about was again a result of the wicked.
That was real comedy.
Yeah.
He wasn't joking. He was just speaking his mind. But people, dum-dums, thought he was joking about it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of George Carlin. I don't remember any of his jokes. I just remember him ranting and raving about bullshit.
And then when he saw people were laughing, he'd get that look like, you think I'm joking, right? Oh, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
You think this is funny?
Yeah, that's the society, man. Only comedians and prophets are allowed to speak the truth. Everybody else is just like, they'll leak out a little ounce of truth and then apologize.
They'll get canceled.
Yeah,
like Jamie Foxx.
I apologize to the Jewish community. Why? They haven't apologized for anything they've ever done. But our people are just spineless, man. But we just have a couple more. We can get matter of fact, we can close on this Daniel 7 and 13. Abaratazada point has been made. Basically in the kingdom, man, everything that we want to have done in righteousness is going to be done. All right, it tells you in Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, and Micah, the 4th chapter, that the heathen are going to actually learn righteousness from us. They're going to have to learn our laws, keep our laws, and if they break them, there's going to be consequences, man.
This is Daniel 7 and
13.
This is Daniel 7 and 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Right, and this is a vision going into Yahushua coming before Yahweh, which this is one of the many precepts that proves the Father and the Son are two different entities. But the Heavenly Father, also known as the Ancient of Days, because he exists outside of time, he's sitting on his throne, and Yahushua is coming with a fleet of angels, chariots. It's a powerful scene, and this is what's going to happen. Go on.
Verse 14, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom, the domicile of the king, the domain of the king, that which shall not be destroyed.
Right, it says his kingdom is a what?
His kingdom his dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
His dominion is an everlasting dominion. So if we're joint heirs with Yahushua, we're kings in a dominion that's an everlasting dominion. That means it's never going to be taken from us. We're never going to go off, and it's going to be. We're just going to laugh about Babylon forever, man. It might be 10,000 years from now. You're like, man, you remember New Orleans? We're just a gut, like one of those laughs you could just hear from miles away.
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. It's going to be a hearty chuckle, man. And that's going to be the same for all you brothers, man. You Akim in New York, Atlanta, obviously, all of these demonic places in Babylon the Great. We're actually creating memories that are going to exist forever, all right? Because we were the men that stood stiffly for the name Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We believed in righteousness when we had nothing, when we had no power. We believed in faith. In the kingdom, every Israelite's going to believe because they're going to see it. It's going to be right in their faces.
That faith, the substance of things hoped for.
Yes.
The substance of things not seen.
Not seen, all right? But we see it. We see it through the scriptures, man. So, Abaratazah, do you have anything else? Abaratazah, this lesson was edifying to the elect. All right, keep pushing, keep enduring, because dominion is coming, and as the brother read, it's an everlasting dominion. So we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the whole flow elect.
Shalom.
Ababa Ball.
Ababa Ball.
Ababa Ball.
Ababa Ball.
Ababa Ball.
Ababa Ball.
Shalom.
Shalom.